Hello, Twin Peaks students. Welcome to a lesson on determine the domain and range of a graph in a table. Again, we'll do a table first, okay? Domain is just your set of numbers that's in the X, okay? So this is your X right here. So any set of number in your X, and then your range is just a set of number for your Y, all right? So for a table, I'm only gonna do one, maybe two, okay? Let's do this one and this one. All right, so again, let's do the domain first. So this one is the domain. It's just a set of numbers. Could be a lot of them, could be a few. This one only has a few, okay? So it's your set of all X numbers, okay? Listed from least to greatest, so -6, 0, 6, 10, and 15. All right, let's go into the range. The range is just a set of your Y's. 8, 10, there's two 10s, you could ignore the second one. 12, and 20. All right, in fact, we don't need to do number 2, okay? Now, let's look at the graph. This is where the hard part is, okay? Now, let's do 13 first. Okay, because 13 is very similar to your table. I actually wrote down these numbers out already for you, okay? So there's your number for these points there, all right? So let's go write down a domain. All right, so your domain again is your X. Okay, all these numbers there, -4, -3, -1 is repeating, just 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then for your range, it's just your set of Y's. Let's see here, we have -3, -1 is next, 0, 1, 2, another 2, another 1. I think my biggest number is a 4. And there you go, okay? Now, for a graph that looks like this, these are continuous graphs. You can't write down every single numbers that represent this graph. That's gonna be way too long, okay? There's another way of writing it, and I'm gonna show you how to do that, all right? Before we get started on that though, okay? When you're doing a problem like this that's continuous, okay? I like to give an example like owning a property. For example, let's just say that your parents own this house, and in this house, has a nice property, and this is your property right over here. All right, now determine your property in terms of location. All right, let's use an X and a Y. Let's use an X and a Y coordinate plane. And let's just say in this property right here, this box right here, okay, the end of your property is these 4 points right there on the graph. All right, so anywhere in between here and anywhere between there. Okay, so let's say this number is like 6, 4, 10, and -4, my bad, and let's go with -12. All right, so your property, you can't just locate one point to the next point, okay? They usually say something else. They're like, oh, it's between here and here. So how do you say your property is between here and here? Okay, again, this represents your domain, this represents your range, okay? So this is how you write it. Oh, okay, my domain, again, the range and domain, it actually means the same thing, but just domain is X and range is Y. They separate those two words together, okay? But anyway, so your domain is your X, and your domain is from here to here. So how do you write that? Well, you just have to write down -4, okay? And then this represents your property. It's somewhere between -4 and somewhere between 6. All right, so somewhere between -4 and 6. So your property is from here to here. Your range, okay, it's between here and here. So again, all you do is just write down, oh, okay, it's from -12 on the range side, okay, and 10. All right, and so that is your domain and range for this box. All right, so let's go ahead and do something like this. Okay, so again, first thing, let's just write down your domain first. So your domain is your X, and this arrow here represents that it would not stop. That means it's just gonna keep on going. Okay, so how can you write something that it's not going to stop. If you own this property, meaning that you own everything. All right, you own everything because it just keeps on going. The number doesn't stop. So how do you write something down? You just have to write down all real numbers. So anything to do with a number, that's a property you own. It's going to cover because this is going to keep on going. This is going to keep on going. Okay, so it's going to cover all of this line right here because it just keeps on going. All right, so every single X is gonna cover. Okay, now your range. All right, looks like my range, like this one's gonna keep on going up, so it's always gonna hit somewhere there, because it keeps on going. All right, so then my Y I know is gonna keep on going, is gonna hit this. Okay, however, how about down here? It only hits right here at -1. It's not gonna hit at -2. Okay, because the graph goes up this way. Okay, so therefore you know that your Y has to be larger, okay, than -1. So it has to be larger than or equal to -1. All right, again, it's just gonna, again, it hits at -1. Your Y hits at -1. It hits at 0. It hits at 1, 2, 3, and then at 4 and 5 and 6, and it keeps on going. So your Y is just larger than -1. All right, number 11. Number 11, your domain. Okay, so X. All right. Now again, I'm gonna do domain first. Again, your domain, it's not gonna hit the X. It can hit -3, but it's not gonna hit at anything below -3. So look at it. It's gonna hit this graph here. This point right there, okay, is gonna cover right there. You see that? Okay, it just keeps on going. All right. So your domain exists anything above -3. So -3. All right, so this graph has a point for anything that's above -3. Okay, how about your range? Your range, again, this one keeps on going, so it's gonna keep on hitting. It's gonna hit here, here, here. It's gonna keep on hitting at everything, so it's all real numbers. Number 12. Number 12, my domain is pretty obvious. Okay, my domain looks like it's gonna hit everything here. Look, this arrow keeps on going. Okay, so there's a point there, and it keeps on going. So my X is always gonna have a point. Okay, so it's all real numbers. All right, now my range, I know it looks kind of weird, but as you can see, this hump right there, it stops at 3, and then it stops at -3. So it's actually between 3 and -3, okay? Because it's not gonna go anything below it, all right? So my Y only goes from here to here. That's the graph for this one here. So therefore it's from -3 to 3. Now this one is very similar to number 10, so I'm not gonna do that one. It's the same answer as number 10. It just stops at -2 though. Okay, that's the only difference, all right? Number 15, as you can see, this graph is very limited. It's limited to 4 and -2. This one here is, it looks like it's supposed to hit at 4. 4 and -2. All right, so my domain, okay, it's from 4 to -2. And my range for the graph is from -2 to 4. All right. Again, it's a little confusing, but we'll talk about that again later. Thank you and have a good day.